She's talking out loud, but she's saying something. 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 Coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia, Miss A.L. Cooper. Bringing you current issues, interviews, and news. Burning up internet radio, so stay tuned. Talking about politics, religion, fashion, people, passions, lifestyles, no topic too wild. Meeting every need of every ear worldwide. Call in, chat live, speak up, keep up, cause it's about that time for Talking Out Loud with A.L. Cooper. She's talking out loud, but she's saying something. 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 Politics, religion, fashion, people, passions, lifestyles, no topic too wild. So stay tuned for A.L. Cooper Talking Out Loud.
Hey everybody, this is your host A.L. Cooper, and today we are talking one-on-one with Dr. Michael McCain. We have a special show today. We have Alfonso Top, my co-host of Talking Out Loud with A.L. Cooper every Tuesday. Alfonso, welcome to the show.
Hey, welcome. It's different being in your realm over here. What's going on? The walls are painted different.
I know.
Not my room.
The walls are pink. The walls are pink. Cool. Dr. Michael McCain is on the show. Welcome to the show as well, Michael. We are going to be talking about financial freedom. We're going to have Dr. McCain talk more about economic systems and how to set them up in place. And he is a life coach and a spiritual leader, as well as a motivational speaker and an author. You're also a poet and entrepreneur. You're a man of many talents. So welcome to the show. I'm so happy that you agreed to come back on our show again. Thank you, and thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Can you tell our audience a little bit about who you are? I know we introduced you as a motivational speaker, an author. It also says you're a poet, an entrepreneur, a life coach, and a spiritual teacher. You have a wide range of experience in both business and in the nonprofit religious sector. Can you expound on more, introduce our audience to who you are and your background?
Sure. I was born and raised in the Bronx, New York. I now live in the Atlanta area. My work and ministry experience comes from years of studying as a minister as well as pastoring. Also venturing into other types of nonprofits within the church, helping to establish and strengthen the community through different programs and things of that nature to help those that really need help the most. That has been my background. My personal background outside of the public work has been entrepreneurship, and that has been my lifeblood, is learning how to start businesses and do different things that were meaningful to me, and basically taking the life skills that I've been blessed with and turning those into things that make money for me. You know, when I first started out, it was a gift basket business, and then I merged into a cleaning business. Directly after the cleaning business, now it's the publishing company. So I've been afforded many opportunities to utilize my natural skills and life skills to turn those into things that are profitable for me to make income and a living.
That is phenomenal. You know, it just feels good to see a man just driven and successful and motivated. We're doing this interview at a time where our country is healing from the verdict that was passed down with the Michael Brown case. There are so many people who are hurting still. They're protesting. Do you believe that economic stability in our inner city communities could be the answer to help heal some of this pain? Because when a people have nothing, they need something. You know, a lot of people say it's race-related. The reason why, and it probably is motivated in that aspect, but I believe that we as a country are moving more towards a caste society, where you are the have and the have-nots. And Alfonso is one to say, he who have gold wins. So do you believe that setting up economic systems in our community, setting up our own systems, our own financial systems, will help heal this pain? Because you are a strong, motivated person that has years of experience as an entrepreneur, and you have set up your own system of streams of income. Do you think this type of economic stimulus is what our community needs?
Most definitely. I believe that within the African American community, the minority community, this is the type of social system that needs to come into place. And many years ago, maybe 30, 40 years ago, we were headed that direction and at some point kind of fell off. You know, the church used to be what was known as the backbone to the place where we would come together as a people. We would voice our concerns. We would voice our opinions. We would organize things that would come together to answer social ills. We would organize committees and organizations and all of those things that made a deep impact in our community. And now we just see stuff like these protests that are going on. The thing that gets under my skin about that is the fact that most people are not realizing the riots and the protesting and the looting is only contributing to further the problem. What people need to understand is, why would you go and loot in your own community? Why would you go and burn up stores and do the things that you're doing in your own community, which in turn will lead to more people in your community not having jobs, because now this business has to recover from this blow. You burnt out their building. They have to lay off people. They don't have a space to work in, et cetera. So this is not answering the social ill. It's only adding to the problem, much more the perception of how our people are viewed. And I think that this is a generation and a time where we need more leaders. We need the type of leadership that we had in the past, and we often find ourselves like we're groping in the dark looking for who's going to be that next voice, who's going to be that person, who's going to stand up to represent us. And those that know to do, we have a saying that goes around that when you know better, you do better. And I think that those of us that have the knowledge, those of us that have the skill, those of us that have the ability, anyone that has an influence on people should be in this hour using their voice, using their influence, using their might, their strength, their skill, their expertise to make a deeper impact in our community, surrounding our community, as well as engaging us with other racial issues that are going on and kind of bridging the gap.
Wow.
That's true. I you know what, I have to agree with you with that. I don't know. I have no, you know, because that's been a hot topic all week since last week of social media. And, you know, I had to let people know that while I do believe that, you know, people do need to stand up and be counted, I think that destruction, especially self-destruction, because make it clear that it was self-destruction. You know, after all the smoke clears and everything and people and TMZ and them leave town, guess what? We're still left with the burnt out husk of an area, a neighborhood. And did what? What did we really accomplish? And so instead of taking 2 steps forward, we actually took 5 steps back. And now, you know, what we should actually be seeing right now is our religious leaders, community leaders, and leaders of educational leaders of all types coming together to say, you know what, in order to bring a change to situations like this that we are starting to see trending and repeating in the news more often than what is comfortable to digest, we should be saying to ourselves at this point, let's raise mentorship teams and communities and places for our youth to go where we can train and educate young women how to conduct themselves, give them something productive to do, and give them information. What do you do when you get arrested? Because the real reality of all of this is, okay, if you do get arrested or do get stopped on the street, what is the process of what you should do, how you should conduct yourself? Even, God forbid, that you are guilty of something. Are you knowledgeable enough to understand that anything that you say or do can be used against you? So don't write a statement. Don't speak. You know, request a lawyer. Request someone of higher authority before you give up any information or et cetera. Do our young people know these things because some of them, under the stress of being stopped, frisked, or the possible thought of going to jail over something is alarming for anyone, but God forbid for us, because anyone's response to getting arrested, we're not just going to stand there and let you do it realistically. So quite naturally, some of our young people's impulse might be to run or might be to do something, which only makes you look more suspect, especially if you are innocent. So we need people to be a voice, provide information, provide mentorship, provide a healthy environment within our communities where young people can come to grow, learn, and have a support system. Think about the many youth that are out there being raised by single parents, single mothers, don't have fathers in the home, etc. We need leaders, authority figures, to be there to mentor our youth so we can stop some of these social ills that are happening right now.
You know, and just to say it, because I agree with you 100%, I think that a deeper situation is that, you know, as a people, we just never, because me and AL were talking about this earlier, because right now, you know, everybody's quick to blame everything on racism. And don't get me wrong, racism does exist. Racism is one of the components that affects everything that we do, you know, as being African American here in the United States. But we can't blame everything on racism, because even if we do find out, yes, it is racism, what do we do then? We find out that we're right there. So now what do we do? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't think we should get hung up on it. I was telling AL earlier that I felt that we as a people, we just never learned how to do the art of business. That's why so many of the corporations and everything just basically step over us and don't really worry about us, because America is about business. America was founded on business. And if you don't know how to do real business in America, then you can't move forward. You can't move back. And I think that's the problem in 2014 going to 2015. As a people, we need to learn how to do real business and make real money so we can make real decisions to get to where we have to go, because as we can see, no one's giving us anything. So we need to go out. We need to go out there and learn how to take it. And as they used to say back in the 90s in hip hop songs, you know, you got to get yours, I got to get mine, and we got to stop looking at the next man, because the next man is not doing anything for us.
Well, I understand that part. I understand about you have to get mine and get yours. For instance, the Asian community, and I notice how when they build their businesses, they don't borrow from banks. They borrow from a group of influential people within their community. They pund their money together, and that's how they build their business. They set up a shop, somebody takes it over a couple of years, and they just keep growing it that nature. You look at people in the Jewish community and just different cultures, different community, the Indian community, you know, even the Caucasian community. But I look at people in the Black community, and that mentality of I got mine, you get yours is what is debilitating us financially.
I don't want you to think that I'm saying being selfish within our community. I'm saying that as a people, we need to start doing what you just said is exactly what I'm talking about. We what I'm saying is that we have to get ours as a people, because no one's giving us anything. I mean, you know, because we have situations here where, you know, it used to be, well, okay, you've got a big business moving into a small community, and the big business is buying up blocks and blocks, and we're thinking, hey, you know what, you're moving into our neighborhood, so you need to give us a certain amount of jobs, blah, blah, blah. The reality is in 2014, 2015, a lot of people are saying, hey, you have a Black president. You need to go ahead and do what you need to do and pull yourself up by your bootstraps. So they're not worried about this, you know. So what happens is that we need to start learning how to use some of those same strategies that you just spoke of, as far as the pond and, you know, the different families and people coming together and working collectively to build on what they have so that we become self-sufficient. I mean, I think that's the thing. We spend money. Everyone knows the urban dollar is powerful, but we don't know how to produce and create for ourselves. Because, you know, it's one thing to be a consumer,
right?
But we got to learn how to be producers.
And that's key what you just said, because the African American community contributes trillions of dollars in income that this country makes every year. But at the top of the social ladder, who is really benefiting from those dollars? And 9 times out of 10, it's not us. You know, every ethnic group has its community, has its systems, has its social systems and powers that it relies on. And in the African American community, we lack the strength of that. We don't just lack it in the business sense, we lack it in our homes. We lack it in our bedrooms, because we've been made to be enemies of each other, yet family members, etc., with each other, and we don't have that brotherhood, that sisterhood. We fake the funk. You know, we can be real phony. You know, we fake the funk of getting along just enough to get what we want, but not really coming together in true unity the way that we need to. If we displayed that same cultural, that's part of our issue, is that we really don't have a context of how to build ourselves as a people because of partial identity crisis. Who are we? What the heck is our culture? What is our belief? What are some of our customs that we can say have been passed down? Truth be told, not just the African American community, but truth be told, the American society really has no culture. So this is why it's easy for Mexicans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Indians, Africans of any other culture or any other continent to come over here, quickly build businesses, because the American government will throw money at them to create more jobs, because the existing people that are born and bred and raised here refuse to create jobs, refuse to create new incomes, new streams of anything. And now our government relies on foreigners to come over here to create that type of influx, that type of flow, to renew the business world, to renew the economic world. So in our communities, people sit back and say, hey, these foreigners are taking all the jobs. But realistically, they're not just taking them, but they're creating them. And then where is our part of the pie in society? Why aren't we waking up to see that we need to invest in ourselves, invest in our communities, invest in our learning institutions, and that trickles all the way down from a school all the way down to our community social systems. We need to be creating infrastructures that strengthen, educate, inform, build up, etc. And it's more than just church, tongue-talking, clapping, and Sunday morning worship. We need to go a step further than that and create a social system that really supports, strengthens, and educates our families.
Agree. Yeah, definitely agree with that. I agree with that 100%.
Wow. You know, Dr. Michael, it sounds like we need to hand you back your pastor's robe again, because you are preaching, okay? You are really preaching it. And I am loving it. I am absolutely loving it. Now, I want to go more into your book, Think Like a Millionaire. Love the title. Tell us more about how important it is to have a millionaire's mindset.
The key component is just what you started off with, your mindset. You know, if you don't think that you can achieve something, you're exactly right. You can't. But if you ever get it in your heart, in your mind, in your spirit that you are well capable of something, faith is the substance of things hoped for, but the evidence of things not seen. So faith is that thing that gives you a title deed. You don't even have the thing tangible or before you, but because I have faith, you know, it's that crazy thing. I can't really show you physical evidence, but deep in my heart, in my mind, in my dreams, in my heartbeat, I know this thing exists. And that has to be the driving force for you. Your why. What is your why? Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you do the things that you do? Why are you a contributing portion of society? Why? What is your why? Because when you discover those things, why family is important, why income is important to you, everything about your life will start to change when you buckle down and get to the why. You know, why am I here? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? And do I really believe that there is wealth locked up in my purpose? Because I don't care how many millionaires you interview, how many billionaires you interview, the story becomes repetitive. Each person that you speak to, it's down to getting to your why. That I realized that the road I was on wasn't exactly the road that I wanted to be on, and I had to find myself, what makes me happy, what I love doing, and I started flourishing, I started prospering, and I'll wrap it up like this. Jesus said, the poor you have with you always. There's always going to be somebody broke. There's always going to be somebody in need. There's always going to be somebody that has some issues going on that's just struggling, but you don't have to be one of them. You know, your day-to-day choices determine the outcome of your life. So if you really want to change the direction and the flow, the consistency or currency of what you're seeing in your life, you have to change your whys. You have to make decisions that lead to a greater outcome. You know, what is it that gets me going? What is my heartbeat? What is it that I really want to do? And in those things, you will find your prosperity. In those things, you will find that you are making more income than you've ever made because you are in the seat of your purpose. You're fulfilling your life's purpose, destiny, calling, all of that stuff. And opportunities start to flow your way. You don't have to look for them because people can see you're on fire. They can see you're moving towards your destiny. They can see you're passionate about whatever it is that you do. Being a recording artist, being an author, being a fashionista or a fashion creator, a makeup artist, people will flock to you. People think that there's no wealth in some of these things, but even down to the simplest things that we do. Look at this African-American woman. Most of you, I'm sure, have heard of her, called Auntie Fee. Now, people are laughing at her because they're saying she's a ghetto cook. But guess what? That's how we survived. That's how we made it. Most of us, if we tell the truth, some of the things that she cooks and does, we've been doing all of our life to make it through.
Exactly.
But now she's taken what she knows and she's using it to give a voice now to some things in our community that we really don't even talk about. Let's be realistic. How many black cooks can we say stay true to what we really like and do? They become commercialized and start to do other things that don't really represent our community. So now you just blend in with all the other stuff that we see. But what she's doing is providing a sense of culture for us. We look at that and say, you know, I eat that. My grandmother makes that, or this person I know makes that. My aunt makes that. This is something we can relate to. So instead of tearing her down or individuals tearing her down, our community needs to surround her, strengthen her, support her. And this is an example of creating a stream of income. From my knowledge, she's selling her meals. She's selling seasoning. She's selling aprons. She's creating income through endorsements, et cetera. She's been featured on several notable television stations, et cetera. And the irony of all of this is this started as like a keepsake for her children, for them to remember how to create these type of recipes. There was no intent for this to make fame for her or to make money for her, but look at how it's blessing her. And this is just a modern day, an up-to-date example of things that you could be doing in your own life to create that type of change in your life.
Yeah, people overlook, they need to do it big, when in actuality, like, you know, some of our guests have stated in the past, you start small. You start with one thing and just maximize that. You know, work that thing. Work that one thing, and that one thing will work for you.
Exactly.
I agree 110%. I think that's the difference. A lot of people spend so much time trying to think, what can I do, what can I do, what can I do, when all it takes is the simplest thing, like she did. But she stayed consistent and true to it, and now look at what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it was something that we had all along, and people take so much time and do all this, that, and the other, trying to think, what can I do, when all they have to do was stay true to themselves. And that's exactly what she did, and now look at where she is.
Mm-hmm.
She on the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Exactly.
She's on Steve Harvey Cooking with Sherry Shepherd. She is everywhere. When they were laughing at her when she was cooking, you know, by herself. I mean, I commend it. I love to see people pursuing their purpose. And Dr. McCain, we love having you on the show. You've just been a wealth of great energy, great insight. You can just feel the passion in your voice, and it's just so intoxicating. Can you tell our listeners more about how they can get in contact with you if they want to have you come and speak, or want to? I know you sell your books on Amazon. Want to learn more about Maximize Publishing? Just more about you. Can you give us some contact information?
Yes, I do have a contact page for my publishing company on Facebook, Maximize Publishing Inc. on Facebook. Our company website is currently in development, so that will be up the first week of the new year. You can also reach me on the web at michaelmccain.org. There's a contact form there for booking or any other information as needed. So if you're interested, you can contact me there, as well as social media. I'm on Facebook. I have a public figure page, Michael McCain. You can look that up. And if all else fails, just Google me.
You know, that's the best thing to say. Google me. And his name is Dr. Michael McCain. McCain spelled M, lowercase c, uppercase C-A-I-N. It has just been a tremendous blessing having you on the show, Alfonso. I love the special edition of One-on-One with A.O. Cooper. I have to have you come and get in my space more often, because you just add so much value and in-depth conversations to the pot, and I love it. And this has just been a fantastic show. I hope that we offer some information out to our listening audience that will help them get out of the rut, to be motivated to start something and to just work that one thing. Again, you are listening to One-on-One, a special edition of One-on-One with A.O. Cooper, featuring Dr. Michael McCain. He's a motivational speaker and an author of Think Like a Millionaire. You can visit his maximizepublishing.wordpress.com to learn more information about his publishing company, his books. Visit his Amazon page to purchase his book, Think Like a Millionaire. Again, this is your host, A.L. Cooper, with special guest, Dr. Michael McCain, and my co-host, Alfonso Todd, on this special edition. We just thank you so much for tuning in, and we will talk out loud one-on-one with you later. Until next time, be blessed, and remember, love is the answer.
Talking out loud with A.L. Cooper. She's talking out loud, but she's saying something. 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 Politics, religion, fashion, people, passion, lifestyles, no topic too wild. She's talking out loud, but she's saying something. She's talking out loud, but she's saying something. She's talking out loud, but she's saying something. She's talking out